Discover the truth in His Word.
It was a high day, a great day, a day that called for a special celebration with a parade and a royal band. King Nebuchadnezzar was excited. He had invited dignitaries from all over the vast Babylonian Empire to come. It was a day that he looked forward to with keen anticipation, and also one that he would never forget as long as he lived. Some time before, the king had dreamed a strange dream. He had seen a great metal image. He couldn't remember what it was, so Daniel had to reveal not only the meaning, but the dream itself. Nebuchadnezzar could think of nothing else. After all, he was the head of gold. His kingdom stood unrivaled in the world, and now everyone would see a vivid demonstration of how great it really was, how great he really was. The proud monarch was pleased when Daniel told him that the head of gold represented Babylon, but the thought that other inferior kingdoms would follow seemed unbearable. In fact, even though the interpretation came from God, the king wouldn't accept it. He became defiant, ordering a gigantic monument made, a statue like the one he had seen in his dream. But instead of several metals in an order of deterioration, this image was all gold, not just the head, but also the entire body, everything. It was the king's way of signifying to the world that his kingdom would last forever. Now everyone was here to see, and though they may have seen some magnificent representations of their heathen gods, they had never seen one to equal the dazzling beauty of this one. On this day, thousands of VIPs, very important people in the king's empire, assembled to witness the dedication of Nebuchadnezzar's image of gold. It was a thrilling day, for the dignitaries could see Nebuchadnezzar himself seated on a throne high and lifted above the heads of all. What a day! A day to remember. And they did have something spectacular to remember that none had counted on. Suddenly a hush fell over the vast crowd. The trumpet sounded a fanfare, and the king's spokesman proclaimed loudly, "To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at the time you hear the sound of the horn, flute, harp, lyre, and psaltery, in symphony, with all kinds of music, you shall fall down and worship the gold image that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. And whoever does not fall down and worship shall be cast immediately into the midst of a burning fiery furnace." Daniel 3, 4 and 5. The music sounded. All the people fell down and worshipped the image. Well, almost all the people. In the vast kneeling throng stood Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, 3 Hebrews who refused to disobey God by bowing and worshipping an idol. Word soon reached the king. Somebody must have been peeking. Furious that anyone should dare defy his direct command, Nebuchadnezzar ordered the offenders to be brought before him. As the king looked at the 3 Hebrews, he recognized them at once. They were extraordinary men with great intelligence and many talents. He had assigned them many responsibilities in the past, which they had faithfully and efficiently performed. Feeling somewhat kindly toward them, he decided to give them another chance. Calling them each by name, the king said, "Now, when you hear the sound of all kinds of music, if you are ready to fall down and worship the image I made, good. But if you do not worship, you shall be cast immediately into the midst of a burning fiery furnace." Daniel 3:15. Once the king had made a pronouncement, he had to back it up or lose face before all the people. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego could see the smoke belching from the huge furnace. There could be no doubt about the king's intention. What should they do? What would you have done? Would they disobey a direct command of God? Oh, it would be easy to rationalize that it wouldn't hurt just once to bow to an idol under these circumstances. After all, their lives were at stake. And wouldn't it be important to show respect for the king? Evidently such thoughts never crossed their minds, for they had been taught God's commandments from childhood. And one of those commands said, "You shall not make for yourself any carved image, or any likeness of anything. You shall not bow down to them or serve them." Exodus 20, 4 and 5. Calmly and without hesitation came their reply. "O Nebuchadnezzar, we have no need to answer you in this matter. If that is the case, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us from your hand, O king. But if not, let it be known to you, O king, that we do not serve your gods, nor will we worship the gold image which you have set up. Daniel 3:16-18. The rest of the story is exciting. The king was furious and ordered that the furnace be heated 7 times hotter than usual. Then the king commanded that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be bound and thrown into the fiery furnace. The fire was so intense that the soldiers who threw the 3 young men in the furnace fell back dead. Suddenly the king was on his feet, running toward the opening of the furnace, shouting to his advisers that he saw 4 men walking around in the flames, and one looked like the Son of God. Nebuchadnezzar commanded the Hebrews to come out of the furnace, and to everyone's utter amazement, the trio stepped out without a hair on their heads singed, or even the smell of smoke on their clothing. Forgotten was the great golden idol set up with such pomp and ceremony. The lead story of the day, and many days to come, was the amazing experience of those 3 young men. Their God had saved them from the flames. What a tremendous testimony to God's love and care for his faithful followers. Well, you say, I'm glad we don't have someone dictating to us how we must worship. That would be terrible, facing death if you didn't worship the way someone else commanded you. Do you know that according to Bible prophecy, the greatest crisis in history is just before us? Like the 3 Hebrews, everyone living during Earth's last hours will be faced with a similar choice, a choice that will forever seal their destiny, a choice that will involve obedience to God and his commands, or worshiping and obeying another power, and the penalty for obeying God will be death. It doesn't seem possible, does it? The most solemn warning ever given to Earth's inhabitants is recorded in the book of Revelation. Evidently God considers this message to be vitally important, for he said, "If any man has an ear, let him hear." Revelation 13:9. We must listen to this most urgent message. If anyone worships the beast and his image, and receives his mark on his forehead or on his hand, he himself shall also drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out full strength into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Revelation 14:9 and 10. Every person should carefully study this prophecy, and make certain that he has nothing to do with the beast or his mark. Blessings are promised to those who are loyal to God. They will receive his seal, while the most terrifying warning in the Bible is given to those who receive the mark of the beast. According to Bible prophecy, at the very end of time, Earth's inhabitants will be divided into 2 groups, those who are loyal to God and obey his commandments, and those who worship the beast and receive his mark. Intense pressure will be brought to bear on those who refuse to worship the beast or receive his mark. It will be just as serious a crisis as the 3 Hebrews faced as they stood before Nebuchadnezzar. God's people will be threatened with economic boycott. He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Revelation 13:16 and 17. Eventually, a decree will be passed, condemning to death those who refuse to worship the beast and his image. Of the second beast of Revelation, the Bible says, "He was granted power to give breath to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast to be killed." Revelation 13:15. Man says, "If you do not worship the beast, we will not buy anything from you, or sell anything to you, and eventually we will kill you." God says, "If you worship the beast, you will receive the wine of the wrath of God." So you will be faced with the most difficult decision you have ever faced. What is this wrath of God that is to be poured out upon the wicked? Revelation holds the answer. "I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous. 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. Revelation 15:1. 3 of the 7 last